RuneScape, a game where players carefully plan out their entire journey through Gielinor. It's very important that you think ahead, plan for the future. The last thing you want to do is just start trading some random skill. So let's start training a random skill. Hello, this is a skill a day, or osrs for short. Instead of doing what makes sense, this dummy trains whatever the wheel tells him to do on that day. At first I thought this would be inefficient. I was wrong. It turns out it's borderline unplayable. By the end of day 1 I made around 6k XP. I played that day for 7 hours. Before we spin the wheel for the first time, let me explain the rules properly. The main rule is simple. I'm only allowed to gain experience in the skill I rolled on that day. Now, the first thing that comes to mind is actions that give 2 kinds of experience. For example, when you attack a mob with a bow, you gain both ranged and hit points experience. However, that action gives more ranged than hit points XP, so I can only do it on a ranged skill day. For minigames, we apply the same rules. Let's take Wintertot as an example. On top of fire making XP, this minigame gives woodcutting, flexion, construction and even some horrorlore XP. But because fire making is by far the main reward, I can only do Wintertot on a fire making day. And on that day, everything inside the arena is fair game. Now for the fun part. We take those rules to the extreme. Meaning that if a quest needs us to pickpocket someone, and that action gives pickpocketing XP, we can only do it on a pickpocketing day. This also includes quests. We can only complete quests that reward XP on the appropriate skilling day. This rule later turns out to be a nightmare. It sets up major roadblocks along the way, as some of these quests unlock big and important parts of the map. Now, there are some special skills that we should mention. If we roll Slayer, we are allowed to use any combat style, but we are only allowed to kill creatures from our current Slayer task. On hit points days, we are allowed to use any combat style. This makes hit points really nice. Maybe a bit overpowered, therefore hit points will be removed from the wheel as soon as we complete all the quests that reward hit points XP. And finally, defense. On a defense day, I can obviously melee, but because long range combat style gives equal ranged and defense XP, I'm also allowed to use ranged, as long as I stick to long range. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's spin the wheel for the first time. Okay, farming, I can work with that. We can buy some basic seeds and farming supplies from Olivia and Sarah. But even though they are really cheap, we currently are completely broke. One of the best early game money making methods is picking up and selling wine in Varlamore. However, Varlamore is locked behind a quest, the Children of the Sun. But we are super lucky. This quest does not involve any combat or any other action that would give us unacceptable experience. And there is also no XP reward for completing the quest. Now that we are in Varlamore, let's take the bird to the Hunter Guild. I completely forgot. The bird transportation system is also locked behind the quest. And this quest will take a while to complete. First, we would need to roll pickpocketing for the step where we need to pickpocket a civilian. Then, we need to kill a boss that requires 2 combat styles. So we would need to roll not just any combat style, but specifically defense or HP. Since these are the only days that allow us to use 2 combat styles on the same day. Then we would have to roll pickpocketing again to complete the quest. So yeah, walking it is. We pick up a few inventories of wine and sell them in Aldrin. Stonks! Now that we have some early cash, we can make our way back to Olivia and Sarah to get our first seeds and farming supplies. While we wait for our seeds to grow, we can take a moment to take a deeper look into farming. This skill has 2 main obstacles. The first one is seeds. Olivia gives us only very basic and low level seeds. Within the farming skill, there are only 2 sources for better seeds in the game. The Farming Guild with a level requirement of 45 and the Tide Farm with a level requirement of 34. So level 34 will be the goal for today. Now for the biggest challenge. The farming patches are spread all over Gielinor. Usually players use various teleports to reach these patches, but since we brought farming on our first day, we don't have any of them. Luckily there is one teleport we do have. Boats. I tried my best to make a farming run that utilizes these as much as possible. This is what I came up with. We start the run with the only teleport we do have, the home teleport to Lumbridge. Then we run north to do the hop patch near the chicken den. After that we run to the patches south of Falador. Then we take a boat at Rimington to Brimhaven. Then a boat to Catterby. After we do the farming patches there, we run to Ardwain and do all those as well. Then a boat from Brimhaven to Port Piscalarius to do the Hosidius farming patch. Back to the boat and on our way to Varlamore. There we need to walk for quite a bit. First to get to the patches, then to get to Aldrin. Since we walk right by the hunting guild, we make a quick stop to pick up some wines for some extra cash. Then we take another boat to Eldrin to sell our wines and do the last hop patch. All of this should take around 40 minutes, enough time for our crops to grow and our home teleport to come off cooldown. Okay, I've been watering and curing these plants for every growing step along the way. Now they are almost done. But we are already 1 hour into our first day and we only have level 2 farming. It really is time to start with our new farming run. Surely they can finish those 2 last growing phases without me watering and curing them. Right? And they're all dead. This account just got even more cursed. Alright, let's get back to it. Let's see how much progress we can make today. Drop the time lapse.
Okay, let's go.
Ugh, walking is so slow. I take everything back. Farming was not a good skill to roll on our first day. With no teleports and level 1 agility, it's miserable. I have played 7 hours today and we end the day at level 23 farming. Still a long way off our goal of level 34. But this is where I'm gonna stop today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this content. I for sure loved making it. If you have any questions or feedback, make sure to leave a comment. I will be reading and replying to every single comment. Since this is a new channel, a like or a subscribe is gonna make a very big difference. Thanks for watching and I see you guys on the next one.